There was a moment in time when music wasn't tucked away behind earbuds or kept quietly inside a phone. It lived out loud. It traveled with you. It echoed down sidewalks, filled parks, and turned strangers into temporary audiences. All it took was a pair of D batteries, a favorite cassette, and a box of speakers slung over your shoulder. Today, we're stepping back into the world of the boombox, the machine that didn't just play music, but broadcast identity. Welcome back to Retro Treasure Unearthed, where we uncover the forgotten gems of tech history. And few gadgets carry the same cultural weight, or literal weight, as the boombox. For some, it was just a portable radio. But to entire generations, it was a symbol of freedom, creativity, and community. Its sound wasn't meant for one person. It was meant for everyone within earshot. In this episode, we'll trace where these machines came from, how they exploded onto the streets, why they became icons, and how they eventually faded, even though their spirit never truly disappeared. Early beginnings. To understand the boombox, we have to go back to a time when portable music meant carrying something closer to a piece of furniture than a gadget. Radios were bulky. Record players needed steady tables. Even portable record players were only portable in the same way old suitcases were. But the 1960s brought a shift. Japanese engineers began shrinking radio components and experimenting with cassette technology. In 1966, Philips released a compact little machine, simple, unassuming, but groundbreaking, a radio with a built-in cassette recorder. It didn't roar with bass or light up with chrome, but it introduced a powerful idea: music you could take to the street. A few years later, Japan took that idea and refined it. By the late 1960s and early 70s, companies like Sharp, Sanyo, and JVC began producing what we would recognize as the first real boomboxes. They had cleaner designs, better speakers, and that magical combination of radio and cassette in one portable frame. Suddenly, music wasn't just something you listened to indoors. It became something you lived with wherever you went. The 1970s, momentum builds. By the mid-70s, cassette technology improved dramatically, and that changed everything. People could record songs off the radio, create their own mixtapes, and replay moments of their lives. Boomboxes grew bigger, louder, and more expressive. You'd see them on beaches, in parks, on train platforms. They weren't flashy yet, but they were becoming a familiar part of daily life, machines that brought together friends, families, neighbors, anyone who wanted to share a soundtrack. The 1980s, the peak of the boombox era. Then came the 80s, and the boombox didn't just grow, it exploded. Designs became bold and metallic, with bright lights, twin cassette decks, thicker woofers, heavier frames, and enough wattage to wake up half the neighborhood. Carrying one became an act of pride. But beyond the hardware, the cultural shift was what truly cemented the boombox into history. Street culture and identity. In cities across America, especially in New York, the boombox became the heartbeat of emerging hip-hop culture. Breakdancers rolled out linoleum sheets in parks and battled to the rhythms blasting from them. Young MCs practiced their flow. DJs traded tapes. The boombox wasn't just equipment. It was presence. It was attitude. It was a statement that said, "I'm here, and so is my sound." Movies, fashion, and pop culture. Hollywood embraced it too. Films from the 80s practically made the boombox a co-star. Whether someone held it over their head in a heartfelt moment, or marched through a street scene in a blast of style and rhythm, the boombox became shorthand for youth, rebellion, and self-expression. During this time, the word Ghetto Blaster started circulating. For some, the name represented empowerment, a way to reclaim visibility and voice. For others, it carried controversy and stereotypes because of noise complaints and cultural tension. But regardless of what people called them, boomboxes remained a symbol of music that belonged to the streets. If you ever owned one, the memories come back instantly. The click of the cassette door as it snaps shut. The hiss before a song starts. The tiny glow of the VU meters. Maybe you remember sitting by the radio, waiting for your favorite song so you could hit record at the perfect moment. Or carrying your boombox in the heat, feeling it grow heavier with every step, but refusing to lower the volume. There were mixtapes made for friends, for crushes, for long bus rides. There were tapes that got chewed up and pulled out like spaghetti, only to be rewound carefully with a pencil. These experiences weren't just habits, they were rituals. They shaped how we connected with music, and with each other. By the early 90s, technology shifted again. CDs arrived, and they didn't play well with bumps and vibrations. Portable CD players took over. The Walkman and Discman offered privacy and convenience. And later, MP3 players shrunk music into digital files, removing the need for tapes or massive speakers. Music became more personal, more contained. The boombox, once the giant of portable sound, suddenly felt out of place in a world chasing smaller and quieter devices. Slowly, they faded from the streets, though their influence never fully left. Even today, when you see a retro-style Bluetooth speaker designed like a mini boombox, you can feel the echo of that era. Boomboxes taught us that music could be shared, broadcast, lived out loud. They're reminders of a time when sound brought people together, not through algorithms or headphones, but through presence. If this journey brought back memories, or maybe introduced you to a piece of history you never knew, consider subscribing to Retro Treasure Unearthed. More stories, more tech, and more nostalgia are just around the corner. Thanks for watching, and keep your volume loud enough to feel.